Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, highlights of a panel discussion we did in Jaipur, talking about Jaipur's rising startup ecosystem. We connected with some of the biggest experts in the city, as well as you, the entrepreneur, listening to some of the highlights of that panel. I want to start with my immediate right. Anuj, let me put you on the spot and saying one thing quickly that you think has really helped the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Jaipur.
I really think a lot has to do with the education that has improved in the last few years. So the youth growing up today has a lot more expectations, aspirations, and I think it really is that that has converted into this entrepreneurial spirit that you see in the youth today.
Dr. Gar?
Yeah. Yes, I think that's right. I'm at Bharatiya Skill Development University, and I think we've opened our university because we feel that this is the time to start skilling students, and that is what we do. There's a lot of these SMEs coming up, and I think this is the right time to do it, and that's why we started this very special skills-only university, and this is the right time.
I want to talk about the role of the government, and it's not very often that one has perhaps good things to say about what the government is doing, particularly for the entrepreneurial community. But in Rajasthan, that is definitely a big plus point, and that's something I want to address. In a record 15 months, the government announced and has set up one of the largest incubation centers anywhere across the country. So kudos to the state government. Open to everyone on this panel, what perhaps has helped? How has the incubation helped? I do know, for instance, Rajendra, you're someone who's based at the incubation center here in Rajasthan, in Jaipur. How has that helped? What advice would you want to give to our entrepreneurs about the benefits of really being based out of this incubator?
So it was a challenge to build a startup ecosystem in cities like Jaipur. So, and when the central government launched this startup, Startup India scheme, and then the tier 2 cities needed ecosystem to be developed. And the government role was necessary to build that ecosystem. Then our Rajasthan government also build the ecosystem what startups need. They need place to sit. That's why, and that in that need, government build the Bhamashah Techno Hub. There 750 people can sit at a time and they can work in, and government is not charging anything for that.
Sure. Anyone else wants to?
I'd like to
sure.
also, acknowledge the support of the government in setting up our institute, and so there are two new universities in Jaipur itself. One is my private university, and the other is set up by the government. So I think the government in that way is promoting the education of the skill education and the skill development. We're trying to inculcate the habit of skilling into students, and thereby also promoting entrepreneurship.
Okay. There's also, just beyond talking about the incubator and the incubation setup, of course, is the fact that there are several other government initiatives as well, whether it is, the Rajasthan IT Day, etc. So in terms of the ecosystem, my question to all of you on this panel is, what perhaps are some of the things that are encouraging the ecosystem here in Rajasthan to develop and to encourage more entrepreneurs really coming into the ecosystem?
Actually, in Jaipur, presently, instead of one, we can say two ecosystems are prevailing. Of course, they are combined. One is from government initiated, another is private sector or agencies initiated. In private sector side, this is going wonderfully well. There is a lot of reception to even inculcate the children or kids who are in 10th to 12th. There are proper programs going on in Jaipur where startup awareness is created, and yes, good ideas have started being promoted, and then it goes up to the entire value chain up till the level of support or even financing, investing, and everything. In government sector, yes, there are few schemes, good schemes, but as it happens that there a little bit tardiness is there in implementation.
What lessons can other state governments learn from the government of Rajasthan when it comes to setting up, of these incubator centers as entrepreneurs, perhaps, as educationists, as people involved with the ecosystem here so closely? What are some of the big positives that you think other state governments can learn?
Jaipur is one of the smart cities in the country, one of the 90 smart cities which are working actively on it. And the fact is that what I remember is of the last result which was there, it stands at number 3 in terms of the development and the work which is happening on the smart city project. So obviously there's some good things which are happening, which are being noticed, and I think that's a learning which is available for the other places, the other cities. I think the IT space, where I think there's a lot of learning available from this place which can be taken to other places. The government has always supported IT, and I think about 15 years ago, it was one of the Bimaru states of the country, okay, and how it has moved away from that and actually taken the initiative. I think one of the first states to actually get into, the e-Mitra initiative which is there, which went not only in the city but into the rural areas across. And it continues. It's not that it is dead. In fact, there are lots and lots of activities happening around it, which is actually also indirectly or directly, encouraging entrepreneurs, because that itself is an entrepreneurial venture.
Sure. In fact, the government of Rajasthan is known for its e-governance and e-government programs. Is there anything that you want to add?
Yeah, like now we are talking about digital India, digitally, like how you can connect people. So like we today talk about e-Mitra service of government. Like there are setups in every village. Everything is online. Like people, if they want to see map of their fields, they can see online. So this is the one thing like which digitization is required. Other thing like job creation. People is talk about like private jobs and all. If you are helping startups and building this ecosystem in cities like Jaipur, people don't have to go to Bangalore or Delhi to get the jobs. Good jobs are available here.
Sure. With so much focus on technology, and everyone on this panel has spoken about technology and how technology really is changing the way business is being done. My question is, Rajasthan is known for its tourism. It's known for its handicrafts. It's known for, its handmade jewelry, for its textiles. What about those industries? Are those perhaps at the development of technology and startups, perhaps? Is it coming at the cost of traditional industries in Rajasthan? How are those being encouraged?
Yeah, so I think that's a brilliant question that you've asked. I mean, when you talk Rajasthan, when you talk Jaipur, you talk heritage, you talk about, everything which is related to history. And I think that's the strength that Jaipur always had. And yes, to a certain extent, it's getting a boost because of the technology. Okay, now all those things are available online, irrespective of where you are in the world. Okay, you can buy all that stuff online. But at the same time, I think there are less and less people who are getting into that part of the business at the grassroots level, because this happens in the rural areas. Okay, this is where the development, this is where the production is happening. So that is where probably there is a need to have more skills being focused at. So whilst we may work on skilling with respect to technology and engineering and all those kind of stuff, I think there's definitely a lot of scope which is there to actually focus on skills which are more directed towards artisans, towards those kind of people who have been doing this, and they suddenly find that the generations next are actually moving away from that piece. So I think yes, that's something which needs to be focused on, surely.
Okay. Any other views on the panel?
Yeah, so when you talk about these older traditional, industries or setups not getting that much of, importance, or maybe the young generation moving out from these traditional, I think this is also required, isn't it? I mean, why should Jaipur be stuck with the image of being only a gemology place or only a heritage place? I think we need a lot of technology, we need a lot of IT, and we need a lot of the new age technologies. For example, we have a course on machine learning and AI in my, university, and I see a lot of youngsters coming for that. We've got a networking course, computer networking. A lot of students, the most number of students come to those kind of schools. We have others also, automotive, carpentry, manufacturing. We are yet to start textiles and things. But looking at the trend, I find that these are the skills that students are really wanting to do, the technological skills.
That's a
more.
very interesting perspective. Yeah, come back.
I want to add up this. This is a technology has really worked very well in Rajasthan. All the online courses, whether it's the heritage design, whether the jewelry or garment or textile, all the famous designers are offering the design courses, and the Jaipur students are getting that, and they were developing their skill and become an entrepreneur. So this technology is every aspect here. Is Rajasthan is at par for that.
Okay, so there is an effective marriage between, traditional and handmade and
Yes,
handicrafts and
yes.
technology.
Time to take a quick break on this show, but on the other side, we'll continue bringing you highlights of the panel discussion from Jaipur. Just stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on the show bring you highlights of a panel discussion that we did in Jaipur. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on the show bring you highlights of a panel discussion talking about the rising startup ecosystem in Jaipur. To listen.
आपने उन लोगों के लिए क्या किया जो लेवल से नीचे हैं और जो कैरियर में कुछ बनना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए आपने क्या सपोर्ट किया?
मैं सिर्फ इतना कह सकती हूँ आपको कि उनको पढ़ाने की ज़रूरत है,
Yes, exactly, ma'am.
स्किल देने की ज़रूरत है. तो that is what Bharatiya Skill Development University and other skill development universities are doing. We are giving them very subsidized, बहुत कम फीस में हम उनको पढ़ा रहे हैं. तो from the education point of view तो हम ये कर रहे हैं.
Okay,
और जब तक हम उनको स्किल नहीं करेंगे तब तक तो आगे वो बढ़ नहीं सकते.
exactly.
जी, तो कर रहे हैं हम, हो रहा है.
Recently, government has waived off farmer loans. They have given unemployment, allowance. How do you think this is going to help? Is enablement more important or giving freebies is more important for government? So, since people are connected with skill, people are connected with agri to business, do you think government should focus more on enablement rather than freebies? Or freebies should be a part of the ecosystem?
Sure, and relevance really for entrepreneurs. Anyone wants to take that on?
Yeah, you're quite right. We need more enablement. That is more important. Facilitating them. That is more important than distributing freebies. But then there are other considerations, aren't there?
Yes, this doling out of the funds doesn't help. Wealth creators are sitting here. These wealth creators, if are supported well, definitely can create wealth for others.
We were talking about local industries, and I want for both of you, if you can, to pitch in as far as what private universities and private individuals like yourself are doing when it comes to skill development. What more should the government do? They've launched Skill India. What more would you like to see?
आपने जो बात बोली है, सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट का काम नहीं है कि उन सब चीज़ों को किया जाए. हमारी प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री भी इतने एक्सपोर्टर, हैंडीक्राफ्ट के भी हैं, टेक्सटाइल के भी हैं, वो काम कर रहे हैं. इसका एक पहलू और भी है कि जो हमारे कारीगर हैं पुराने, उनको हम जब नई स्किल सिखाने जाते हैं, जो नए स्टूडेंट यूथ है वो नई स्किल को सीख रहे हैं, लेकिन जो पुराने कारीगर हैं वो इतने सेट माइंड में हो गए हैं कि उनको जब कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी, नई स्किल सिखाने जाता है तो वो उसके लिए बहुत क्लोज माइंड को लेके रखते हैं. जब वो आज के ज़माने के साथ नहीं चलेंगे, आज की मार्केट की नीड को फुलफ़िल नहीं करेंगे, तो सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट या कोई प्राइवेट एक्सपोर्टर या एंटरप्रेन्योर या बिजनेसमैन. मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देना चाहूँगी कि जब हमारे स्टूडेंट मार्केट में जाके उन कारीगर को बोलते हैं कि भैया आप ऐसे नहीं ऐसे बना दो, तो वो बोलते कि नहीं हम तो ऐसे ही बनाएंगे, हम 50 साल से ऐसे ही बना रहे हैं. जब हम इस माइंडसेट को लेके काम करेंगे तो क्या आपको लगता है कि हम उस गैप को फिल कर पाएंगे?
Sure.
I'd like to also add another aspect to it, and that is that we are skilling students. Our program needs industry to come forward and take, at least a collaborative, at least do more than what they're doing. So whether it's a small industry or whether it's big industry, we need to send our skilling students to for internship. The government can come and I won't say force them, but at least bring out some rules where industry is required to take cognizance of the fact that we have so many students to skill, we have so many openings in skills. I find that industry, I'm sorry, is not coming forward to help our students.
We were talking about startups and all, but what about the investment scenario? So I cannot name even 10 startups which were heavily funded by VCs in Jaipur.
So that was going to be my next question. Thank you for taking that away. And we were talking about mindset on this panel. And, you know, the first question that we ask when we go to any city is funding. I'm surprised that you're perhaps the last person to talk on funding on this panel. So I want to talk funding. Why is it that we're not talking funding in a city like Jaipur? Is it perhaps, is it mindset? Is it, you know, better access to funds? What is it?
In the funding, actually, yes, we are, as a Marwadi, we may say, risk takers, but we do not resort on the external capital, be it the debt or be it the others' capital. Things are changing, no doubt. So that's risk aversion for the finance side had always played a greater role, because I am working on all over India basis, and I find that Andhra Pradesh or Gujarat, there, for funding, of course, there is a lot. That is one thing. Second thing, somehow government is trying, but the total banking system or private, of course our private finance in Jaipur is considered one of the best. That financing that has just disturbed only 1 or 2 years ago because of real estate or jewelry problems.
Okay.
So I will say
Anuj,
no.
I want to
sure.
add
I just very quickly will come back. But Anuj, you've not raised funding either. And as the next generation of your family-owned business, what's your view towards fundraising?
You know, that's something that we've definitely discussed in the business time and again. You know, it's also a question of whether you need it or not. But I think at the moment where in our business, we're at a point where we're, you know, transforming ourselves internally. And then definitely, I think, you know, raising capital through investment is something that we're going to look into in 1 or 2 years. And we're definitely open to it. And I can, you know, this is, you know, the transition happening in my family business right now, you know, from the last generation to my generation. There's also, you know, this change in mindset. There's always this fear of, you know, losing control over the business once you know, attract investment, and then you know, you have to give up some of your equity. But I think, you know, that is changing. Things are changing.
2 or 3 things that entrepreneurs should keep in mind when it perhaps comes to approaching investors. What do you think maybe they should do differently, being based in a city like Jaipur? Your own experience, what you've done and what has worked.
So like there are different type of fundings available. Let's say like we started up. First we thought we will be doing it bootstrap, because that is the best way you can build some business. So first it's not necessary that you should expect funding from external investors. Then there are like bridge round of fundings from governments, like many impact funds are available. Like we got funding from government of Rajasthan. We also got funding from like angel investors. So again, you have to propose that kind of solutions that can give 10x, 20x return to that investors. Then yes, funding is available.
Then one thing that you definitely want to see changing in the next couple of years as part of whether it's mindset, whether it's the investment climate right here in Jaipur, in Rajasthan?
Well, I would say that one thing is the mindset. The society mindset needs to change faster, and if that happens, everything else falls in place.
Okay. Very quickly, as far as skill development is concerned, we've been talking about traditional industries, and my question to you, Kamla, is do you think enough is being done to develop the skill of the local artisans, to develop skills of, you know, traditional handicrafts, and to maintain that as well, even as we're moving to the next century, even as we're moving to using technology more?
Yes, we are doing a good, and I feel that Rajasthan is doing quite well about this skill development program. And the youth are doing, the artisan is working with the youth, and their combo is very well. And all the technology, with the technology and artisan and the student, whether the handicraft or textile or jewelry, they're doing quite very well. I'm very happy for last 20 years. I'm saying the growth is very high.
Great. Rajneesh, my question to you is, we are counting down to, of course, the full year budget that's going to come out in the next couple of months. Anything specific that you want for Rajasthan, representing, of course, an industry body, to say that this is something that I definitely want to see for entrepreneurs here?
Build up a lot of infrastructure. We need it.
Great. Sweet and short, and you definitely are stressing on infrastructure, something that one of the other panelists was also saying. My question to you, Dr. Garg, is, and I want to talk about women entrepreneurs. Maybe going by a dipstick survey, just seeing how many women are here in the panel, and I can only see, one lady in the audience. Do you think much more needs to be done?
Absolutely, much more needs to be done. Yeah. In my, what I have felt and what I have experienced in these last 1.5 years is that industry is not really willing to take girl students. One company told me, we cannot send out girls in the field. This is a field job. So please don't send us girl interns. Now that is something that we really need to change. And that again is a question of mindset, of this whole society trying to, get out of that mindset and promote our girls as much.
Anuj, my question to you is, as someone who's part of a family-owned business, all across India, small businesses that are family-owned and run, we see a lot of people bringing in professional managers. While it's still owned by the family, it's run by a professional manager. Is that perhaps you see a lot of businesses here in Jaipur doing? Is that, that model? And as someone who is the young face of a business family, what have been your biggest strengths and your biggest learnings?
Well, to answer your first question, yes, I mean, that's, definitely something that businesses should do if they're not doing already. And I think a lot of businesses in Rajasthan have done that. Bikaji, for example, was a brand that no one really knew about 4 or 5 years ago. And then, they they overhauled their management completely. And now, it's a globally renowned brand. So yeah, definitely, professionally run organizations would only be able to, only those organizations would be able to, survive in the future. Being a part of the family business, I think my strength has been that I didn't have to, deal with a lot of challenges that startups, fresh startups have to deal with. But I kind of started my own venture, in the company, kind of like a startup with the backing of a, or a corporation. So I think that was a strength that I had through which, I can just launch the ideas that I had in my mind. Weakness is something, weakness for the business, I think, is to be able to attain good talent here, because a lot of highly skilled individuals are, placed in Delhi or Mumbai or Pune or Bangalore, or in all of those big cities. To be able to, get them to, shift their base from those big cities and come to Jaipur has been challenging. So, I think that's something that we struggle with a little, but I think that's changing pretty fast, with education improving at a rapid pace in Jaipur.
All right, on that note, thank you all very much to this entire panel. Thank you so much to the audience which is here tonight.
That's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com is our email ID. Reach out to us on social media, Sunanda_J and LO3_ET Now on Twitter, Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.